Dr. Mindy here, and on this video, for those of you that are struggling to lose weight, this is the magic fast. So I'm going to explain why. I'm going to show you the study behind why this fast is key for losing weight. I'm going to talk about how do you prepare for this fast, and how do you break the fast, and of course, how women should do it. What I want to talk about is the power of this 36-hour fast. In Fast Like a Girl, what I do is I lay out 6 different fasts. And the chapter where I lay out these 6 different fasts, I spent a lot of time, the editor and I, on making sure that we got you the right science, that we explained it to you very clearly, and that not only can you understand it, but that if you have people around you that are like, why are you fasting? Or some of you that are health practitioners and you're like, okay, I want my patients to fast, but I don't want to go into all the details. It's all written out in this book. So really excited to get it to you. In the 36-hour fast, what I want you to know is that that is the perfect time, the absolute perfect time to get your body to go and find the glucose, the toxins, the hormones that it stored years ago in fat. And let me explain why. So remember that we've got this sugar burner, fat burner system, okay? And in my academy, we do this all the time. This is the way we say goodbye to each other on the Zoom calls. So if you're like, what is this crazy lady doing? I'm gonna explain it to you right now. When we eat, we're accessing food from our sugar burner metabolism. So when you eat things that are really sugary, when you eat things that are really high in toxic oils, you take your blood sugar to a really high level. It's going to take some time for that blood sugar to come down so that you can switch over into the fat burning mode. So this is why I want to do a whole video. The next video will be specifically on how do you work with this sugar burner system so we can get you over to fat burner as fast as possible. But for this video, I want you to understand why this 36 hours works so magically. So let's say you eat, I'm gonna say we eat like a steak and a sweet potato, that's my favorite, and some salad for dinner, and you stop eating at 6 o'clock at night. That starts the clock of your blood sugar coming down. With a good meal like that, within about 8 hours, your body is starting to make this switch over into the fat burner metabolism. Now you're over here in fat burner at 8 hours. You're not going to see it on your ketone reader probably till about 12 or 13 hours. But it takes about somewhere between 8 to 13 hours to get you over here into fat burning. So now, boom, you're there 13 hours, 15 hours of fasting, and you're in that fat burner system. And now your body's going, okay, we're not sensing that any glucose is coming in. We're not sensing any food is coming in. So we better make some ketones by burning fat. So now you're at like hour 16, you're at hour 17, and the body is going, okay, I'm gonna burn fat because I stored stuff there years ago, so I'm gonna use this for this moment. And so it burns that. Now at 20 hours, you're burning fat, 24 hours, you're burning fat. You're hopping on the scale, you're like, I don't see any fat burning. You're looking at your ketones, you're like, I don't see any ketone production. We've seen this happen over and over again at somewhere around 2024. But if you hang in there long enough, what we find is about 36 hours is where it's just the right amount of time for the body to grab onto the idea that no food is coming and it better burn some fat for fuel. And so some of you, this is happening at 17 hours. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh yeah, I get ketones at 17, I can lose weight with a 24. Amazing. I love that. This video is for those of you that are really struggling with weight loss and your fasting's not doing it for you. What I love about the 36-hour fast is it's enough time to really force, and I'm going to say lovingly force the body into burning the fat that you hate for energy, so it starts to prime that fat burning system. The 36-hour fast is not a fast that you've got to do every week. You can. I've seen people do it every week to be able to really accelerate their weight loss results. But if you're on a trajectory of like, I want to lose weight, we got to get you dipped into these 36-hour fasts every once in a while, because you need that amount of time in your fat burning window to be able to train the body to start burning that fat more efficiently. So let me know if that makes sense, because a lot of you throw the 15-hour fast, which is great. It's an intermittent fast, but it's not long enough to burn fat for you. Some of you throw the 24-hour. I call it the gut reset fast. That may also not be long enough, but the 36-hour fast is where the magic starts to happen. And so there was several studies. I'm going to read the one that I put in Fast Like a Girl. Okay. Here's what I want to read. And I actually marked in the book, which I got to tell you, that was like a little hard to mark in my own book there for a moment. My first book ever sent to me for this book. Okay, here we go. A cell metabolism study was published in 2019 looking at the power of a 36-hour fast, followed by 12 hours of eating window. So that's what they did. They did 36 hours of fasting and then a 12-hour eating window. That's a little different combination. It's a style of fasting that's often referred to as alternate day fasting. In this particular study was a very, very large study. It was one of the largest of its kind. And when subjects followed an alternate day fasting regime for 30 days, okay? I'm giving you the magic here. So it's 36 hours of fasting followed by 12-hour eating window. 36 hours of fasting followed by 12-hour eating window. That's for 30 days. That's what this study was done. And what they found was that ketone production continued the whole 30 days. They were in ketosis, largely because they spent so much time fasting, I'm sure, even though they ate in a 12-hour eating window. So think about that for a moment. They fasted for 36 hours. They ate for 12 hours. And then they fasted for 36 hours. They did that for 30 days and they stayed in ketosis the whole time, meaning they were really in that fat burning place. That's a heck of a great tool for you, those of you that are looking to lose weight. What about trying that? I mean, that would be really a big dive into going after weight loss. And then I'll continue on here. They also saw, it wasn't just weight loss they saw in this study, they saw a reduction in cholesterol and inflammation with the alternate day fasting. And what was really exciting, probably the most exciting part, and why I put it in the book, was that most of the fat loss, are you ready for this? Those of you who are like, how do I target fat loss? Most of the fat loss was happening around the belly. Okay. Can you see why we love the 36-hour fast? Not only are you training your body to be a better fat burner and more efficient, but if you follow that protocol, that 30-day protocol in there, you are really looking at a massive, incredible approach to losing weight. So, and I know a lot of you come to fasting for weight loss. What I also love about that study is that it really shows that we can bring inflammation down and that we can bring cholesterol down without medication. That was just from fasting. Cell metabolism, pretty cool study. How do we go about preparing for a 36-hour fast so you get the maximum weight loss? Also, how do we break the fast so you keep the weight loss? So here we go. I'm going to break this down as simply as possible. So remember that when we're dealing with the two metabolisms, we've got the sugar burner metabolism and the fat burner metabolism. So the name of the game when we're burning fat with fasting is we're trying to get to the fat burner metabolism as quickly as possible. So we can do that by making sure that we're avoiding some foods and that we're actually adding some foods in that will make our sugar burner system more efficient and therefore move us over to fat burner as quickly as possible. And here are some of the strategies to doing that. So, and it's really cool because I put in here a 30-day fasting reset for you all to follow. Men can follow it too. And what I did is I have a pre-reset in here where you can actually prepare yourself for fasting. So I'm really excited to get that with lists of food. Oh my God, there's so many lists of food in this book. So here's what your pre-reset. What I want you to know is that you want to make sure that you are avoiding some key foods. And most of them are the standard American diet. Most of them are things you're going to find when you walk into your grocery store in the center of your grocery store, all that food in there. If it has a long shelf life, its shelf life is long because they've put chemicals and oils in there to preserve them. those are going to make it more difficult. Those chemicals and those oils are going to make it more difficult for you to switch over to fat burner. It's going to take you longer. So here are some of the foods that I want you to avoid. Okay, I got to interrupt this video because I have a free guide for you so you can master fasting. It's called A Beginner's Guide to a Fasting Lifestyle. And all you've got to do is click here and you can jump right in. First is I want you to get rid of all the harmful oils. If you don't know what the harmful oils are, they're in the book. A couple of the ones that you're probably eating that you might not be aware of are like vegetable oil, soybean oil, canola oil. Those are kind of the biggies. Second group of foods that you're going to want to avoid before going into that 36-hour fast are the breads, the cakes, the pastas, the cookies, those processed, refined flours. The problem with those is they spike your blood sugar, combine them with like some vegetable oil, and now you've got this blood sugar that's so high, it's going to take a long time for it to come down so that it can switch over into fat burner. But if we eat the same thing where we eat like maybe a piece of chicken and some salad, your your sugar burner system's not going to spike as high. And so therefore you're going to move over to fat burner much quicker. So when we prepare for the fat burner reset, this 36-hour fast, what I want you to do is make sure you're avoiding the oils and you're avoiding the processed carbs. Those are the two most important things. And again, there's tons of lists in here that you can focus on. I even talk about foods that you can add in before you go into a longer fast. To me, the 36-hour fast is a longer fast. That to me, anything over 24 hours is longer. But if you decide a couple of days leading up to this 36-hour fast that you're going to take the bad oils out and take the refined carbohydrates, you're going to lose more weight when you're in the 36 hours. So let's just start with that concept for a moment. Now, the other part of this is once you go into the 36 hours, you know, the way I do something like this is that the hardest part is when you get to dinner, like it's 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, and you're like, what do I do? I'm hungry perhaps. Just go to bed. Go to sleep, let your body repair. And when you wake up the next morning, a lot of times you're not going to be that hungry. So, you know, if you get to that dinner time and you're struggling, drink some water, have some Element, our favorite mineral pack, and maybe some tea, and go to bed. And then wake up the next morning, you only have about 12 hours at that point to go. When you go to break your fast, I want you to break it with protein. And here's why. You've heard me say this on many other videos, and that's that protein is really going to stimulate something called mTOR. And mTOR builds muscle. So in a 36-hour fast, you've been breaking down, the body's going after that stored glucose and fat. Now it's time to rebuild. So put some protein in, and protein, if you hit 30 grams of protein at that first meal, you'll trigger an amino acid sensor within your muscles that will build your muscles strong. Now here's where we can start stacking all these things together. So we prepare the body going in to the fast with the tips I showed you. We do the 36-hour fast, a little longer, so we force the body to go burn fat. And then we come in with protein and we get those amino acids triggered so that we're building muscle. You could even throw a workout in at that point as well if you had energy. And as muscle is building, your metabolism becomes more efficient. Your metabolism, literally, they say that the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism. You also have more insulin receptor sites. So if you're really struggling to lose weight, I love this style of looking at the foods you want to avoid going into the fast, do a 36-hour, come out eating protein, break it with protein, go do some weightlifting around that time so you can build the muscle strong. Now you're not just doing like a crash diet, you're actually setting your body up so that the day after you do that scenario, you're more efficient at fat burning. So the weeks following that scenario, you're going to be a better fat burner. That's the whole name of the game here, right? So where diets have failed us is that they're temporary and we have a temporary result. When you look at a 36-hour fast the way I just taught you, what happens is you're literally training your body to be a better fat burner and a better fat burner. Now, last thing I want to tell you is a lot of you have asked me about, well, I don't know what 30 grams of protein looks like. I don't know how to break a fast. I put it all in a book because you've asked me so much. I wanted to make sure you had it. Not only did I do a whole chapter, check this out, chapter 9, how to break a fast, whole chapter for you on how to break a fast, but I actually put in recipes so that you can start to look, because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, I get what you're telling me, but what does this look like in action? So I have a whole section in my book of recipes. So there you go. That's the magic formula. Okay, are you fasting and you're still not losing weight? Check out this video because you might be missing a key part of your fasting experience that's gonna unlock weight loss. So if you think about it, all the humans that emerged out of that time have the gene that allows us to go without food. And that gene, they believe, is in all of us today.